the most condescending and mean was it was a professor at the time, but she was a casting director for that particular day and moment and for the particular event. She said, "It's not up to me to say it," and I'm quoting her exactly, "It's not up to me to say it, but the reason why you will never play the leading ladies is because of your weight." She said it exactly that way. And that was a shock to me, and I think I started shaking a little bit, because in my heart, I knew, I do plus size modeling, so I didn't mind my weight. I never minded my weight. I never felt like I was uncomfortable in my body, because I always, it's my motto, and every girl I would ever help, I would say, dress for your size, not for the body that you want to have. So I always feel like I dress like a lady, and I feel comfortable in my clothes, and I feel comfortable in my body. So when somebody said that to me, all of a sudden, it took all my female women issues and put them in the way of my career. And that was the first time something became an obstacle in my career. Because no matter what my age is, no matter where I'm coming from, I worked so hard to be where I'm at, that no matter what people say to me about packages and characters and types and stereotypes, doesn't get in my way of pursuing what I want. But when somebody lifted the way of the issue of my weight to get in the way of a character that I wanted, that hurt more than I could ever think of. It never got in my way again after that, and to think that she went ahead and gave me the leading lady is what that bothered me even more. She went ahead and gave me the leading lady that day when she was casting. But she said that to me the day of. And I was like, you're contradicting yourself, and you hurt me for no reason. So, but yeah, that was a challenge. That was a huge challenge that day. I cried.
I guess the negative thing is just basically not fitting the description. I mean, like, I hope one day, you know, people will be more open to being like, oh, a Filipino girl, a Filipino or any type of nationality can play a ghetto girl. I mean, I know some Filipinos that are ghetto, but I mean, I wish hopefully one day, like I said, they're open to just having different types of people play different types of roles and not just keep it so, you know, so secluded and everything.
It's oftentimes about being able to do martial arts and being able to speak with an accent. You know, I've been asked those two things by agents, by casting directors, a lot, you know, and I've gotten, you know, again, I think part of it is minority actors, you know, heightened sensitivity, but it's also the insensitivity of other people. I've been told so many times, like, oh my God, you remind me of, and I'm thinking like, okay, you know, who can it be, you know, De Niro, you know, DiCaprio, who? And then you remind me of Jet Li, of Jackie Chan, you know? And who knows how much of that is sincere, you know, but a lot of it is there's so many pieces in that conversation. The lack of representation, and also the lack of people's kind of willingness to see beyond race. So those, you know, there are a lot of things that people have said that kind of would strike me in a way that is, you know, frustrating. You know, I haven't been, you know, it's been a long time since I've been approached with something really blatantly racist. I don't know if it's who I am, or I feel like I carry myself in such a way that people either don't want to have that conversation with me, or I'm lucky enough to surround myself with wonderful people, or whatever. But I think in the last 5-6 years, you know, I don't face as much. But it certainly is represented in the number of auditions that I miss out on. The roles I don't get to, you know, play. I definitely think that is another form of, you know, insult, you know, that may not say it verbally, but, you know.
What I heard was that, Sia, you need to learn how to be a ghetto girl, because those are the roles that you're probably going to go for when they just look at you. because a casting director is not going to hear your voice until you open up. So you need to learn how to do that. And for me, that was insulting because I was like, ghetto? Does that mean all black people just go for ghetto roles? I don't understand that. So that hurt me. That really did hurt me. And that's when I decided that, you know, there needs to be a change in this industry. I mean, and number one, it's a struggle for women in this industry, period, but let alone women of color in this industry. I mean, look, the Asians haven't even made it in yet. So it's like, you know, as a black person, there needs to be a change in there. So that was the most harmful thing.
One time I did go to an audition, and they told me I would sit there, and they told me that I wasn't marketable. Yeah. So I was wondering why, and this was back in the early 2000s when I was doing auditioning and so forth. You look great, hey, but you're just not marketable.
Well, stereotype more because of my height. They asked me if I could lose a bunch of weight, so I would be more model type, I guess. So I could play a model because I'm too fat, I guess, to be a model, and I'm not, too fat to be a model. I'm not fat enough to be like an obese, like, you know, curvy person. So I was on set once for this little web series, and they asked me if I could, you know, for the next episode, if I could lose weight. And I was just like, no, I can't, I'm sorry. Just because I don't want to stoop down to that level where people can tell me what to do and I have to adjust myself, so I will be worth something. I want to, you know, stay the way I am and be true to myself.
There was this one incident when I went into an agency. The receptionist, she was so rude to literally everybody. I mean, she would yell at the minors, like, oh, if you don't have your parent in here, you can't come in. You know, the people who coming in for auditions, you know, once again, she was more so doing it towards the minorities I was noticing. Like I said, I'm a very observant young man, and I was just sitting, I was standing in the line waiting to, you know, approach the receptionist myself. I approached her, you know, politely, kind, ma'am, may I please, you know, just sign in, Trey CARSWELL for my appointment. And she just like throws it like, and she tells me to go sit in the lobby versus everyone else was actually going into a waiting area of the agency. And once again, not thinking anything negative about it. Just, okay, I go into the lobby to fill out my paperwork. Another black guy comes sitting in the lobby. And I'm noticing, but when the Caucasians, you know, sign in for their interviews, they're being sent into the waiting room. And I just thought that was so interesting. So that did kind of bother me inside. So when the agent came out to like have me, you know, get ready for my interview, I decided not to go through with the process. And I told the agent, you know, I don't feel comfortable with doing it. The agent was like very adamant, like, what's the issue? What's wrong, Mr. CARSWELL? We actually need your look for something. And I'm just like, you know, I don't want to mention it. I didn't tell on the receptionist. I wasn't trying to be the bad advocate, try to have anyone lose their job, because it's not going to get anywhere in life, you know. I could have easily like, well, your receptionist has been so rude, but like I said, I try not to put that negative energy out there. So I just told the agent I couldn't do the interview. I left, and I felt good inside because I still had my dignity. You know, I felt very disrespected. And honestly, like my mother was telling me, if she's pretty sure the agency does know about this receptionist and her character. So honestly, if they have her like literally greeting people, how do you think the agency is as a whole? So with that being said, I kind of I feel good about that decision I made to just actually walk away from, which could have been a probably major, big, just good thing in my life, but I walked away from it, you know, because I did feel, you know, disrespected, and I did feel like I was being looked down because of, you know, my ethnicity, my race, you know.